As many of you will be aware, we have launched an ambitious national transformation agenda anchored on 3 critical pillars. First, we are investing heavily in infrastructure and connectivity by expanding roads, railways, airports, and seaports. Just last week, we did launch the extension of the standard gauge railway that will now find its way to Uganda and to DRC to improve on our logistics. You heard from the panelists here that business is looking for how to move things in a much more cost-effective manner. We know very well that we have invested significantly in the roads infrastructure, but we believe that what we have done is not sufficient. So we are increasing our investment in the roads sector. In the next 7 years, we want to double our paved road infrastructure in Kenya, including highways. Because we want to unlock the market, as we have said, in the East African community of 330 million people. We are extending the highway from Nairobi now into Nakuru, finally into Malaba, and connecting it to Uganda. We will shortly be advertising another highway from Mombasa to Nairobi, and another 2,800 kilometers of highway around Kenya. This is an investment that is going to cost us between $10 and $15 billion, and we are slowly but surely finding the innovative mechanism on how to deploy resources in that space. Secondly, over the next 5 years, between 5 and 10 years, we plan to build at least 50 mega dams to strengthen water security and significantly enhance agricultural productivity. If I mention to you the 4 investors that are investing in the agricultural sector, the $1 billion that we are going to sign up today, all those investors are going to invest in agriculture, but in irrigation. And so the construction of dams, storage of water, harvesting of water is going to play a significant part of our way forward. Luckily for the investors that will be signing off today, we already have developed infrastructure for them to use the water that we already have in the irrigation space that is there. But that will significantly increase our agricultural output, especially for export. And third, we are scaling up our energy capacity, tripling generation to at least 10,000 megawatts to power industrial growth and future demand. As was said here again by the panelists, the cost of energy is significant to making investment decisions and enhancing competitiveness. Just yesterday, I was in Siaya, where we want to generate at least 3,000 megawatts of energy using nuclear. And I was having a conversation with the community and leadership in that region, because our 10,000 megawatts will come from diverse sources, from nuclear, from solar, from hydro, from wind, and from geothermal. And we will be looking for partners, maybe in this forum, because our investment in that space is going to be another $10 billion. And we are already beginning to structure the mechanism for us to be able to have that investment undertaken. We're not just talking about numbers. We're talking about real investments. In the space of agriculture alone, there is going to be signed off deals of projects that are on ground, some of them halfway through. Just in agriculture alone, $1 billion. In rice, in sugarcane, in manufacturing. And these are investments from across the globe, from USA to China, to India, to UAE, to Uganda, to Singapore. Yes, I said Singapore. And of course, to Kenya. We have a very interesting conversation in our country about Singapore. And one of the companies, Syntex from Singapore, is actually investing right here in Athi River to hire 2,000 Kenyans on apparels. So that is the extent, all the way to Australia and many other countries, demonstrating confidence in investing in Kenya. And that's why I tell the people of my great country, we need to believe in ourselves because others believe in us. The majority of these investments are already at advanced stages of implementation, with several already breaking ground. Collectively, they will create over 63,000 quality jobs for Kenyans. It's not by default that the Kenyan people is central to the development of our country and to the investment climate that we have as our country. It's because we have consistently invested as a nation in our human capital. 30% of our budget every year goes to education, training at all levels. We've just increased in the last 3 years our education budget by $1.5 billion in the last 3 years. We've hired 100,000 teachers more into our classrooms, expanded learning spaces by 23,000 classrooms, and developed a new funding model to make sure that our colleges and universities have adequate resources to sharpen our human capital. And from a policy point, I want to assure you that the jewel of our investment, the Kenyan human capital, will continue to receive the Kenya government's attention and resources for us to make sure that we don't lose that competitive edge that comes with investing in our human capital. We're also improving energy competitiveness through ongoing tariff reforms and expanded power generation, ensuring more predictable and cost-effective electricity for energy-intensive industries. At the same time, we are streamlining industrial incentives by aligning our export processing zones and special economic zones into a more coherent, transparent, and investor-friendly framework. These reforms are being reinforced by broader regulatory improvements, including the fast-tracking of the Business Laws Amendment Bill 2026 and the introduction of the Invest Kenya Bill, which will reform our 2004 Investment Promotion and Facilitation Act to establish a unified, modern framework for investment facilitation, faster approvals, and enhanced aftercare services. We are also strengthening international investment frameworks by accelerating double taxation avoidance agreements, modernizing bilateral investment treaties, and providing greater tax certainty, and cross-border investor confidence. For those of you who read social media, I would encourage you to listen to the panelists more. I mean, these are real practitioners. These are people who are at the place where the rubber meets the road. And that is their experience. That is not to say that we've arrived. It's not. And that's why we will continue improving. We will continue doing what we must do. Allow me to highlight just a few. Last year, during my visit to London, we secured a commitment with the Flamingo Group, as I said earlier. And just last month, we launched their US dollars 14 million expansion project in Naivasha. From the same engagement in London, both Bupa Health and Lloyds of London have since established operations in Kenya. Early this year, Mars Wrigley expanded its sugar-free gum operation within Kenya with a US dollar 33 million investment in Athi River, while Coca-Cola scaled up its bottling manufacturing facility in Kisumu with a US dollars 45 million investment. At the same time, we have secured a US dollars 150 million investment from UAE's Aquilastar in electric and hybrid vehicle manufacturing in Nakuru County. We have many more such examples, and it is for this reason that today we are unveiling more than US dollars 2.5 billion in 20 investment deals across agriculture, manufacturing, ICT, business process outsourcing, healthcare, energy, and real estate. Regionally, Kenya anchors the East African Community Common Market of more than 330 million consumers and the COMESA market of 680 million consumers. And that is why you have the Secretary General of COMESA in this meeting. Just this week, we finalized negotiations with the government of China on a bilateral trade agreement that will open access to an additional market valued at about US dollars 19 trillion, further expanding opportunities for investors. Despite the clear and demonstrable progress registered, we remain committed to continuously improving, guided by the insights and concerns of investors, businesses, and all stakeholders, as was recorded by the CS for Trade. In direct response to investor feedback, Kenya is implementing a new package of cross-cutting policy actions designed to remove long-standing investment bottlenecks and significantly enhance the ease of doing business. We are strengthening tax administration by introducing VAT refund mechanisms for export-oriented firms and providing greater certainty in transfer pricing frameworks, thereby improving liquidity and predictability for our investors. I remember a very special case with my good sister who spoke from the flower industry here, when she did mention to me when we had an investment conference in London about the challenges they were facing, and that if we did realign with their request, they would enhance their investment in Kenya. And to their credit, when we did what they asked, when we did whatever they asked us to do, the CS Trade was in Naivasha to launch their expansion of almost 2 billion shillings. And so when my Minister for Trade says we are working with stakeholders, business, investors, as they make suggestions to us, we align with the requirements of the market. To further support investment decisions, the government has developed an investment project catalog, a comprehensive deal book that brings together Kenya's most promising and investment-ready opportunities, and which will be showcased at this conference. I think for a while, people did not know where to invest. What are the opportunities? In which space are these opportunities? So we have decided to put together all the investment-ready opportunities available in Kenya, sector by sector, with a detailed analysis of what you need to do to unlock that investment. We will give you a whole book today on the investment-ready opportunities in Kenya. You do not have to go and look any further. There will be other opportunities that may not be in that book, but the ones in that book are the ones that have already been prepared. Some of them visibility is done, and some of them progress has been made. And we're not only thinking about those opportunities, we will also tell you in which places will you find the space to be able to undertake whatever investment you want to make. I assure you that Kenya is ready and open for business. And I look forward to engaging with you together with my team from the different actors, from mining to industry to investment to agriculture, and to all the other spaces. I was specifically touched by our friends from ADEC, an American firm, who has identified Kenya for what it is, that we have the best human capital you can find anywhere in the world. I say that with no doubt in my mind, and without fear of any contradiction, that we have the best human capital you can find anywhere in the world. The testimony of the panel is here. They kept on referring back to the Kenyan people. The Kenyan people. And that is what it is. Despite global headwinds, foreign direct investment inflows in 2025 grew by over 15%, exceeding for the first time $2 billion mark. Kenya was also recently upgraded by the Standard & Poor's from B- to B, a clear signal of strengthening macroeconomic fundamentals and growing investor confidence. Inflation has averaged 4.4% over an extended period, having come down from 9.6% 3 years ago. Our exchange rate has remained stable at 129 shillings to a dollar over the past 2 years. Meanwhile, our foreign exchange reserves stand at a historic high of US dollars 14.6 billion, representing nearly 7 months of import cover. At the same time, our capital markets continue to exhibit strong performance, with Nairobi Securities Exchange ranking among the best performing stock markets in Africa. In 2025, for example, it emerged as the second best on the continent, delivering a remarkable 52% return in dollar terms. This performance is now driving an ambitious expansion agenda, with the NSE targeting 40 new listings by 2029. Earlier this month, the landmark Kenya Pipeline Company initial public offering raised US dollars 823 million. Our focus remains firmly on strengthening the domestic environment, and we are deepening reforms and executing policies that enhance competitiveness, streamline processes, and create a more enabling, and investor-friendly environment. These reforms include zero-rating VAT on exported services, tax reforms that allow corporates to offset verified tax claims against future liabilities, and the removal of the 30% domestic equity requirement for ICT companies, thereby unlocking significant new investments into Kenya's rapidly expanding digital economy. Through our one-stop investment center, investors now access seamless, world-class facilitation services. By the end of this year, 2026, this platform will be fully digitized, enabling permits and licenses to be secured entirely online, reducing costs and improving efficiency for our investors. Wherever you come from anywhere in the world, you do not visit Kenya. You simply come home. So welcome home, karibuni nyumbani. We have gathered here this morning for the 4th edition of the Kenya International Investment Conference 2026, a platform designed not only to unlock and drive Kenya's transformation, but also to advance the progress of our region and the broader African continent. We meet at a moment of great consequence, defined by profound disruptions and growing uncertainty, from shifting geopolitical alignments to economic volatility and latest developments in the Middle East. The global landscape is becoming ever more complex and unpredictable. As we navigate these evolving contexts, our collective responsibility is to ensure that our economies remain resilient, adaptable, and capable of withstanding global shocks. That is precisely what we have worked to achieve in Kenya over the past 3 years. At a time of global uncertainty, Kenya offers something increasingly rare: stability, predictability, openness, and world-class opportunities underpinned by both macro and microeconomic fundamentals.
Your Excellency, we are gathered at a particularly profound moment in global affairs when the Middle East crisis continues to adversely impact global and regional economic outlook as logistics disruptions and expected global oil shortages become a reality. This calls for proactive strategies such as today's conference, as well as accelerated intra-Africa partnership, including African Continental Free Trade Area, so as to ease stress from external and domestic shocks. In this regard, as a member of the East African Community and standing among the first countries to ratify the African Continental Free Trade Agreement in May 2018, Kenya continues to champion deeper regional economic and investment cooperation. And Mr. President, nobody needs to remind us that you are the champion on behalf of the continent for the African Continental Free Trade Area promotion. Notably, the strategic, innovative, and investment solutions will contribute to inclusive growth and social prosperity for our people, enabling us to realize the government's bottom-up economic transformation agenda priorities. Finally, I commend the conference organizers for creating a platform for all stakeholders, partners, and participants to deliberate on how to stimulate investments in Kenya, thus highlighting our country's contribution to regional and Africa's shared prosperity.
But I think, Your Excellency, you'll forgive me. We've seen the transformation from Kenya Investment Authority to invest in Kenya as public sector. It's not just that video. Your Excellency, I know you are the front person on investment in Kenya, but I think in Kenya team with the ministry has done an amazing job. I can confirm, Your Excellency, that we actually, it used to be one-stop shop, but we are seeing one shop. And why do I say one-stop shop? It just used to end there, but we can see deals as bankers, and we are converting deals, Your Excellency. So thank you so much for the transformation that has happened in that unit. Secondly, Your Excellency, I don't need to talk about KCB 130 years in this country. At the core of every development, we are catalysts. And Your Excellency, recently with AfriExim, we signed the financing for Vipingo. You had one of the panelists talking about the second city. Vipingo is actually reality to getting the second city conversations, Your Excellency. So $300 million with AfriExim to ensure that that Arise project kicks off. Finally, Your Excellency, from a banking perspective, we've seen interest rates coming down, but we've also seen that we are taking a bet on this country, and it's paying back, Your Excellency. So I'm one of those people from a financial institution that will say, when you invest in Kenya, it pays. But I'm also challenging private sector and government entities to find ways to work together to accelerate that transformation.
I stand here on behalf of the Arise Group, which is a Pan-African developer of special economic zones, logistics parks, and ports across the African continent. Over the last 15 years, we've been able to develop these projects across 18 locations in 18 countries in Africa. But I want to specifically mention that our investment in Kenya is going to be by far the largest investment that we have done so far in the history of our company. So thank you very much, Your Excellency, for the opportunity. We are developing 3 special economic zones to begin with, and 4,500 acres of industrial land that is going to be provided for enabling manufacturing and developing the logistics and trade framework within the East African continent. And we stand proud that over the next 3 years, we will be investing as a company over $3 billion in Kenya, only to enable the growth for the economic value that we are going to unlock as a business. What I see today is a theme of resilience. And I come here from Dubai in UAE, which is probably facing one of its most challenging situations. But it is the resilience and the resolve to provide a safe, secure, stable solution that is keeping investors still stay put in that country. So I would certainly provide the same resilience for all of us to come together to overcome the challenges that we have. And today in the panel, people spoke about what investors are looking for. So beyond economic stability and beyond the political or the geo advantage of what Kenya offers, Your Excellency, and with your permission, I would like to address to all the government officials in the room. Capital is looking for stable, and especially for manufacturing companies, they are looking for enablers in the form of power tariffs. They're looking for enablers in the form of corporate structures in terms of taxation. They're looking for policy framework that enables the unlockment of key sectors and also import subsidies where there is unlocking of great potential to develop over 100,000 and millions of jobs. We, as an endeavor with Arise, are looking to create over 500,000 jobs in the next 5 years. And with Your Excellency's leadership and guidance, we hope that coming together in partnership with Ken Invest and with many other companies here, we will be able to achieve what we are set out for. Once again, thank you very much for patiently listening. And Your Excellency, thank you very much for your leadership. And Ken Invest, thank you for having me here. Thank you.
My responsibility, part of what I really would have wanted to say, has actually been said by the panel that was here. And it was said in a very powerful way. So I request you to join me in thanking them for that testimony. And I think the best testimony is one that comes from the business people and not the government. So I really want to thank them for the journey that we've walked together. Your Excellency, I take this opportunity to welcome all our delegates here in Kenya and also to the Kenya International Investment Conference, this being the fourth one since we started holding these investment conferences. We are delighted to welcome our delegates and participants to the great city of Nairobi. For those visiting for the first time, enjoy our cool weather and take time to explore the many attractions that define Nairobi. This is probably the closest we get to winter, so around the year you can have your stay in Nairobi like this, so really we welcome you. Situated on the equator, Kenya enjoys temperate weather all the year round, making it suitable for agribusiness, green energy, and tourism. In literally every sector of the economy, opportunities abound waiting to be explored. From manufacturing to agribusiness and digital economy, the country is a cocktail of opportunities awaiting investors such as yourselves. We look forward for partners who can be able to work with us, and at this time allow me to say that for the last 3 years we have agreed that we want to operate outside the box. And that means whenever there is a problem and you need a solution, we don't want to be defined by tradition. So for investors who are here, whenever there is a problem and you have a solution, the government is waiting to listen to you. And therefore, to say we have discarded the box, and all you want is, where do we meet? You need your investment return, you need stability, we want our young people employed, and you want our forex in the country. That's our meeting point, that's the equilibrium, and we'll be able to create a solution necessary for you. Under the wise and visionary leadership of the President, we have embraced adaptation and innovation. And therefore, meaning with every changing situation, we sit with the business community to align on the challenges that are there, and even when our laws are an impediment, we have what you call business amendment laws, such as what we passed last year, and even this year will be aligning. I want to take this opportunity also to thank the investors who are already in Kenya, because there are many who want to come, but many others who are already here. Some of them have also sponsored this event, including KCB, our biggest bank, led by Paul Ruto. Thank you. It's our biggest bank, but also within the region in East Africa, and I'm also hoping we'll go beyond East Africa, is our leading bank. So again, when it comes to financial solutions, together with M-Pesa and all the others that are there, we are all set. We also have Arise, which have also partly sponsored this event, and we also want to thank you for your participation and sponsorship.